So, Menshare.
Yeah,
How did you arrive at Menshare?
through social prescribing, and that was through a church bereavement group. But really, social prescribing was the thing. There was this mythical being called Sean that people were talking about. He can sort you out, take you under his wing, and and I just thought that's what I need. That's what I need. So we set up this meeting, and I overslept for various reasons. I think I was doing some nonsense the night before.
Okay.
I arrived half an hour late. Sean was just walking out, going, "You're late. I'm going." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm Trevor. I do whatever I want. I don't care about timings." But they really took me to task, and they threatened to cancel it. And I thought, well, if they cancel it, that's it. It's your chance blown. So I got that sort of an insight in that moment that if I was going to join this group, I had to change. I had to change my attitude and maybe a little bit more less cocky.
So, what was your first conversation like with Menshare founder Sean?
He didn't take any bullshit. I could just say what was going on, and he shared some of his personal experience, some of his challenges, and I resonated with that. I thought he's a bit sort of scary at first, but
he's anything but though, isn't he? He's very the work that
but
Menshare and
softened.
Sean, the work that Menshare and Sean has done has always been.
It's hard edge, man.
It's very serious work.
Yeah, it's deep problems. So, if anybody is thinking, "Oh, my problem's too deep to come to Menshare," no, it ain't.
And Menshare is fully reliant on fundraising and people raising in the community.
Yeah, send us your money if you're rich. But we need it.
But we need it. But what it's done
it's life saving. It's as valuable as the ambulance service, as time to talk, as anything that NHS do. The NHS is overrun, massively overrun. The amount of times I registered for time to talk, and they said, "We can get you someone in 16 weeks." A lot can happen in 16 weeks. A lot can happen.
You could.
When I spoke to Daryl, I was within a circle within 3 days, talking my shit out. So that's why Sean's a genius, because when there's no one else there, the circle is.
Yes.
Have you tried making an appointment with a GP nowadays?
Yeah.
Impossible.
Impossible.
Referrals to a psychiatrist? Absolutely impossible. Like, years down the line. And that's for good reason, because there's people with, intensive problems and what have you, and they're in the system. But if you're like, there's like Samaritans, obviously Samaritans. It's weird because I did phone Samaritans, and they sort of, I would call it, talked me off the ledge. But then I kept phoning them, and they sort of, after a while, said, "Why'd you keep phoning us?" Like, you can't just phone us and say, "What shall I have for dinner?" It's like, so I was using them as a... Yeah, but actually one of the women said to me, she changed her mind later. She said, "Like, you can, but we're really busy." And I thought, okay, I need to find somewhere else to have a chat and to...
Okay. So you end up at a Menshare circle.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first experience?
It was horrible. It was horrible because, like, you walk in with a sense of failure. You think, "Oh no," like, and I don't think I shared anything. I just sat there, I didn't say anything.
But as you know, nobody's ever compelled on the first circle to ever want to talk, and when they're ready to talk.
I like that, and I like that you can share as much as you need to,
as much as you want, or as little as you want, whenever you want. But
a lot of the time when you come in, you're in a bad way. It's not a lot different from if you were seeing a professional. Your legs are shaking, you've got high anxiety. I mean, I just felt this urge to run away as well. It's like, that's difficult for men to sit still and go, "I've got a problem."
So what struck you at that moment when you come in and you saw all of these different men, different communities, different backgrounds, and they're all there wanting to share with complete strangers.
Well, my initial thinking was I shouldn't be here. This isn't for me.
And so,
Because as you alluded to in the first section, I am a bit eccentric and a little bit creative and artistic, and I thought there's a lot of sort of big burly men and stronger and physically, and felt a bit intimidating. But what I would like to say is that I've never had any trouble, and I've made good friends, and they're all in different shapes and sizes, and
and I
it's
think
fantastic.
and I think the beauty is that with a circle, we always sit there and say, be mindful of your language, your character, your conduct. Every man's story is their own personal journey.
Hmm.
Not to overpower anybody in not in physical sense, but in verbally. Everybody has something of value to contribute and say, and to be mindful of each other.
Yeah, Sean has set up safety, basically. It's a safe space.
It's a safe space for men,
Yeah.
and so
And there's always a couple of leaders around who, if it does get edgy, or we call it charge, they can sort it out. I mean, I've had circles where people have just run through the circle, like just come across, and it's like, whoa, you never know what's going to happen, but someone will always sort it out, and you don't have to worry about that. That's what leaders do. They're absolutely brilliant. They're not trained counsellors, but they're just people who care about other human beings, and they've been through that process themselves. That's the main thing.
So like I myself, I joined after a difficult time in my life. I ended up being a leader. I've ended up establishing this podcast to share the work of Menshare, and I've always found it to be a space where if you're comfortable to talk, you're sharing your experience, but you're also learning other men's experiences. But what that's doing is not only empowering you, but educating you, but also at the same time making you fully aware and fully versed in everybody else has got their own problems going on, some more greater than others. So it gives you a sense of perspective.
It
Now,
does. It does, and
and
it gives you like compassion and empathy for people as well.
do you think you had any of that stuff before you joined the Menshare circle, especially for yourself? Or do you think after you have been attending these circles and now part of the Menshare community, that it's allowed you to have empathy, compassion for yourself, and a sense of empowerment? And this, when you're sitting here, and I've seen you yourself when you've attended circles, and I've been there listening to other men's stories, how you feel about it.
Mm. When before I went to my first circle, I highlighted to Sean what I thought would be the things that would stop me benefiting from growth within the circle, and so that was almost like I went, right, if I do this, I'll mess it up, so don't let me do this. Like, have an accountability to me. Just look out and see when I'm doing it. I don't know if he told the leaders or whatever, but I got picked up for putting too much crumbs on the floor and not putting my chair away. It was disciplinary type things. It was just like, oh, okay, like I said it before, I've got to change. I've got to do something different here. And
But there's a subtle lesson though, right? Discipline.
Yeah,
right?
you
So
can't get away from
no,
it. If you want to change your life, you've got to
discipline.
have a bit of discipline.
And then in the first part,
Just a little bit.
you spoke about your lack of discipline, and a lot of men come to Menshare with a lack of discipline, and therefore they throw themselves into things that are not conducive to discipline or help them and better themselves. But what Menshare, like you're saying, is the structure, the order, the time scales, and what we have to operate by, where we'll be putting stuff away at the end or whatever. It's that sense of, like you're saying, accountability,
Yeah,
discipline,
and
contribution.
Yeah. So you walk in and you're like, right, I'm basically a selfish twat. That's all I care about. I just like get off my head and watch telly and watch YouTube and sleep in all day and don't do anything with my life. And then you go into the circle and they say, no, you clean your cup, or put out the biscuits, or make a circle with the chairs, or
So,
wherever. And it's straight away. It's like, oh, I've forgotten how to do all this stuff. I've forgotten how to be a responsible male adult. And then like that, it's not like a system where they teach you. It's just, if you want to pick up good behaviours and habits, and listening is so important. Like if you just sit there and listen and let sort of the stories wash over you, and if you just took one insight away per meeting, that's gold. That's gold. That insight can change everything. You know, you might be in an absolute, you feel like there's a wall and you can't see past the wall,
Mm.
and that insight just goes poof, and it's like the Berlin Wall coming down, and you can see it, and you're like, why didn't I see that before? The idea is we don't give advice, but we trigger you to find your own wisdom, something that resonates, you know.
Learning.
And then there is also the practicalities of it. Okay, I need to go to a group that will support me in X, Y, Z. You know, whether it's recovery or alcohol or drugs or.
So how do you feel about the support that Menshare has given you over the last year?
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, the only thing that has stopped me getting the support I need is me. It's like I've been offered a banquet and I've gone, nah, I'll just have a nibble. Over the year, I occasionally have a nibble, but I could have really, really gone for it. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you how much you want to sort of throw the gift away or accept the gift. And I'm coming round to the point now where it is a gift in my life. It's sort of first thing in the diary. Boom,
Okay.
and share. Yeah, and then some of the events that I've been to as well are just it's difficult for me stand there, talk to someone and help them and ask for a donation or two or whatever, and it's uncomfortable, but I have the opportunity to do it. I have the opportunity to go beyond my comfort zone, and I love the nature walks as well. They're fantastic. I mean, that was sort of one of the things that I lined up was going for a walk in nature. I love nature, and it's healing, and it's good for breathing and air, and all sorts, and your immune system. But again, if you're on your own walking in a forest, that can be quite intimidating when you've got a lot of problems. If you're
Mm.
walking in a group with 10 guys, and you're sort of lightly just discussing, I've got this stuff going on, and then you have a cup of coffee at the end, and
So do you feel like the trees are an analogy of all of the burdens and the worries that you have in life overpowering you, and there's you, this solitary figure, walking through all of this journey by yourself, right? And then sometimes, like in the forest, it can get dark or what have you, and you're waiting for that break of light. But you're saying, like with the Menshare as a collective, it doesn't seem so daunting anymore. So that you're now going away and able to look at the challenges you're facing in your life with knowing that there's a support network, a voluntary support network behind you of men in same similar situations and leaders who are giving themselves to help you navigate that walk, that journey.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a network. It's a living, breathing network of human beings.
You said something a little while ago about discipline and listening. Do you think these are two of the biggest challenges?
Not being distracted.
Do you think these are the two of the biggest challenges facing men generally? Discipline and a space for listening and talking.
I don't think it's as hard as that. From what I can see, it all boils down to relationships. I struggled with a relationship with myself and a relationship with other people. And even if I had a relationship with other people, it was awful. It was just a mess.
See,
And
I've learned over the years as well. If you love yourself and you have care for yourself, then you are in a better position, a better place to deal with the people that you are going to come into contact with. If you have self-loathing or self-doubt, you're more liable to be destructive by nature and destructive to those that you're in contact with. Would you agree with
yeah,
that?
I'm gonna I'm gonna put my neck on the line here and say that I mean I've been to a lot of meetings, and I'd say 99% of the guys that come through that door hate themselves. I did. They hate themselves. and they loathe themselves and they can't find. If you ask them to put a list of 3 things together that they thought was good about them, they would struggle. And what Menshare does is sort of, you think, well, you know, I washed up a cup, or I said hello to that man, or you know, I gave up my Saturday afternoon or whatever. You start to get evidence for that you're not a knob end. I can't say that.
Just can, it's fine. So if you were to summarize, Menshare then to our viewers now watching this video,
What, you want me to look at them?
what would you say? Yeah, what would you say? What would you say to our audience?
Wow. Yeah, just get yourself to a meeting. That's what you need to do. There's links on the website and there's information and everything, but ultimately it takes action, and the meeting is the thing. Once you get to the meeting, it can all flow from there. A lot of the leaders say the hardest thing is to walk through the door. It isn't a cult, and there's no financial burden on it. If you want to give, you give. If you don't, you don't. And there's absolutely no requirement for that to turn up to a meeting. You will be warmly welcomed, and even that warm welcome will start to think, oh, okay, like maybe there's a possibility. Maybe there's a possibility I can do something with my life. And then every person that I've seen who keeps coming to the meetings has transformed beyond my wildest expectations. Like I you know, obviously there's this video series with people with their transformational stories, but to go from nothing to strong, disciplined, compassionate, open people.
You can see it like when men walk through the door sometimes, and their body language, their face is facing the floor, their legs are shaking.
Oh, it's just amazing.
A few months later, heads up, chest is out.
I got a job.
There's assurance.
I got a girlfriend. You know, whatever. I've sorted this problem. Sometimes it's like you think they're actors. You know, you think no, it can't happen that quickly. You can't sort out a massive mess in your life that quickly. But it does, doesn't it? It happens really quickly. It happens within a couple of months. Stuff that's been dragging on and it's so difficult. And it's because someone in there will have gone through it or knows someone who's gone through it, and then they can help you. In a way, they don't help. They come alongside you and they just say, we got this. We got this.
Menshare. So we've talked about your journey.
Sensible stuff.
We've talked about Menshare.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the impact it's had on your life today.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm alive. I'm here. I've done another year. I'm not so selfish. I am still a bit selfish, but I am not so selfish. I have learned sometimes just being present with another man is enough for them not to do something stupid. Yeah, I think that's a really big gift, particularly because my dad unalived himself. At first, I didn't really want to hear about any of that, but then Menshare is created from someone who took their life, you know, in sort of remembrance of them, and to stop that happening. So it's like I know what I'm getting into when I go there. I'm going to meet other guys who've either tried it or thinking about it, and maybe I'm just a bit more sensitive to that, like how sometimes men on the outside they seem like everything's okay, but the journey of my dad, the problems he had with relationships, problems he had with money, problems he had with connecting with people and sharing his feelings. I mean, it was crazy because we found out that 2 weeks before he died, he went to a therapist. And my theory is that he could not deal with his feelings. He could not get this stuff out. And I wish he'd come to Menshare. Maybe sometimes I look around that circle and I see And I feel relief that there are men who are in that circle who didn't do what my dad did.
And I know, obviously, we've come across men who have tried it, and we've looked into their eyes, and I think there's nothing more hurtful to me as a man, seeing a man who tried to unalive himself and he's failed at that, and he feels even more of a failure that he couldn't take his own life. And then we're grateful because a few months down the line, the glimmer's back in their eyes a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's a change in their demeanor and personality. But they themselves are also glad that they failed to take their own life.
Yeah, and it's you know it's about the moments in life for me. I've noticed them more and more in the circles that when I'm really listening and really connected to that person, I can feel an emotion in that room. I can't put my finger on it. You know, it could be healing or love or something like that, and you know, just this feeling of that something is being released, something is being let go, and that communal sort of power. If I just stop for a moment and let it happen, it will happen. I mean, it happened the other night, didn't it? On the Monday night, I called it Miracle Monday, and then Wednesday I called Wisdom Wednesday.
Okay.
And it's like it I don't think I don't think I could have survived without it. I really don't. I really don't. I really got to the stage where I was so alienated and just misunderstood men so much. I mean, the amount of times I used to go into town and just get chased or beaten up, like, it was just ridiculous. Like, because I was scared of men. I was scared of men. And then I went to the men's circle, and part of the healing journey was to become comfortable with them again, and to admire them, and to model them, and feel like. And you know, I learned a lot through Menshare about what my dad was going through. I don't have any kids myself, but I've heard men sharing stories about what they've done with their kids, and I thought, wow, never knew that side of my dad, and you never knew that side of other men as well. You know, we are quite bravado creatures. How you doing? Yeah, I'm all right. You know, oh yeah, I'm great. Yeah, fantastic. It could be better. It doesn't really go any deeper than that normally, does it? And you take that same man from a circle, and he goes, "Oh man, I'm really suffering. This is really making me angry, depressed, sad, lost, confused, all those things." And we say, "Yeah, I hear you, brother. I hear you." That's what it's about. It's about hearing that brother, and then he feels heard, and then he can move on. And that's what my experience is. I'm not perfect, and I make a lot of mistakes, and I'm creating a right old mess now. But it's a different level. It's like I have somewhere to live. I managed to deal with my dad's suicide. I've helped a lot of other men in the group with their feelings of suicide. I've in fact, I checked in with a couple of guys yesterday. I've never done that. I've never done it. I'm too selfish to do anything like that. I care about them. I don't want them to make the same mistakes.
So
And that's what a circle is. You know, we care about each other.
so when you look at all of these things, let's say you were sleeping in your car previously, right? Now we're doing this informal discussion from your apartment,
Chez moi.
from
Yeah.
from a
Exactly.
house,
From a maisonette, no
from
less. I call it the maisonette.
from car to a place of your own.
Well, you know, my dad left me some money. Let's not beat around the bush. But what he didn't leave me was able to make decisions. And so I would come to circles, and I would say, I don't know what to do with my dad's money. I just feel like I want to go to Philippines and blow it. And men would say, well, how about buying a house? How about living somewhere? How about creating something that way? I'm like, oh, I can't do that. There's no way I could do that on my own, like sitting in a little bed sit and think, I just blown that money on hookers and drugs, 100%. And then, like, because Menshare was like, well, don't.
Do something positive with it. Do
Yeah,
something constructive. Do something that benefits your future, that empowers you in your space.
Mate, I've got leaders. I've got people who look out for me. If I do get into a mess, I have the confidence to go to the circle and to say that I'm in a mess. I take more positive action. I have less distraction. I've got a girlfriend. I don't know how long that's going to last, but that is quite an achievement. What else? Communication. We do workshops, role plays, difficult situations, brutal conversations, lots and lots of things, lots of growth and transformation. And next year I'm going to be working with a coach that Menshare have provided for me to help create my coaching business so I can help more men. Because like outside the circle, you can get coaching, you can get counselling, you can. There's like a support network outside, and I want to be part of that.
It's beautiful stuff.
Yay!
So, look, it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
If there's a message for anybody out there that you would want to say, if they're feeling alone or a bit difficult, in a difficult place, mindset.
Yeah, it's a tough time of year. A lot of we had a circle the other day, and a lot of men were feeling it around this time of year. But it's better to feel it with support. You know, don't stay on your own. I mean, ironically, there aren't any meetings for the next 2 weeks. But pick up that phone anyway and book yourself something in January where you can have an experience like me. You can have a transformational experience. You can gain a lot of knowledge about yourself, about other people, and realize that you are worth it. You have value. That whatever that thought is in your mind that's saying, "I'm a failure. I'm no good. It's not good enough. I've messed it up." We don't care. Come to the circle, and we'll have a nice cup of tea with a chat, and we'll make a plan. All right. Have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year, and you.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Trevor.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for your honesty
you're welcome.
and delivering it for us today.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We wish everybody, all our viewers, a very happy Xmas and a happy New Year. We'll see you in the New Year.
Yeah.